Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. Prime Minister Mark Carney has outlined the federal government's comprehensive plan to address infrastructure deficits across Canada, with a $51 billion funding commitment over the next decade. The initiative, known as the Build Communities Strong Fund, and first announced in the 2025 budget, will see $27.8 billion dedicated to essential infrastructure, such as roads, bridges, and water systems. An additional $6 billion is allocated for major local projects, including community centers, with Brampton, Ontario, receiving $64 million for a new recreation center and park as the first announced project. The remaining $17.2 billion will be matched by provinces and territories to reduce housing costs and develop healthcare facilities, exemplified by Ontario's decision to waive sales taxes on new homes for a year. This report comes from City News Everywhere. From newswire.ca, the Government of Canada, in partnership with Shoal Lake 41st Nation, Manitoba Housing, and the City of Winnipeg, has announced over $51 million in combined funding to develop 150 new, affordable apartment homes in Winnipeg. Located at 2675 Portage Avenue, this project is wholly owned by Shoal Lake 41st Nation, an Ojibwe nation, and represents a significant step towards economic reconciliation. This is the First Nations' inaugural housing development in Winnipeg, aiming to provide a mix of 1, 2, and 3-bedroom units. The initiative is part of Canada's broader efforts to address the national housing crisis by increasing affordable housing supply, cutting red tape, and fighting homelessness. Winnipeg is contributing $2 million through its Housing Accelerator Fund and an additional $4.4 million in tax incentive financing. Manitoba Housing is providing a $1.5 million grant, while the federal government is contributing $43.5 million from the Affordable Housing Fund. This collaborative effort underscores a shared commitment to providing safe, stable, and affordable housing options for Winnipeg residents. UPI reports that the U.S. military conducted airstrikes on Iran's Kharg Island on Tuesday. Unnamed U.S. military sources informed The Washington Post, CNN, and NBC News that the targets were military infrastructure, including runways, bunkers, storage facilities, and air defense systems, carefully avoiding oil infrastructure. Kharg Island is crucial for Iran's economy, handling about 90% of its oil exports. This attack follows President Donald Trump's March 13 claim of having totally obliterated military targets on the island. Vice President J.D. Vance clarified that these strikes do not signify a change in strategy regarding Trump's 8 p.m. deadline for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz to U.S. traffic. Earlier on Tuesday, Trump posted a new dire threat on Truth Social, warning of a whole civilization dying if the deadline is missed. The ongoing closure of the Strait of Hormuz continues to impact crude oil prices, which saw a significant rise on Tuesday. City News Everywhere's The Big Story podcast delves into Canada's significant contributions to the ongoing Artemis mission. Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen is part of the 4-person crew that has achieved a new milestone by traveling over 400,000 kilometers from Earth, farther than any human before. The crew successfully completed a lunar flyby, making observations and fulfilling 10 scientific objectives. Host Karen Ciolin speaks with Olivier Lamar, a robotics engineer at Nordspace, to provide insight into the mission's ambitious timeline and goals. They discuss the crucial impact of Canadian talent and intelligence on these aerospace achievements and consider what future opportunities and influence Canada might have in lunar exploration and intelligence gathering. This analysis highlights Canada's evolving role in humanity's return to the moon. Global News reports that Prime Minister Mark Carney's government commissioned several taxpayer-funded polls late last year to assess public opinion on justice issues and crime-fighting priorities. Conducted in November and December, these polls revealed a clear public perception that the government was not doing enough to combat various crimes, from home invasions to cybercrime. Canadians also held a dim view of the justice system's fairness towards crime victims and strongly favored tougher bail conditions and harsher sentences for repeat offenders. Prime Minister Carney, addressing reporters in Brampton, Ontario, acknowledged that his government had not met public expectations regarding crime. He emphasized the need for a relentless focus using all federal powers, noting that while results are emerging, his administration remains unsatisfied and committed to further action. Polling data also suggested that the Liberals' reputation on crime contributed to poor election results in key areas like Brampton, Surrey, BC, and parts of Calgary. Carney's approach marks a shift towards a more rightward position on law and order compared to his predecessor, Justin Trudeau. Despite government initiatives such as bail reform, strengthened border security, and plans for a gun buyback, only 17% of respondents recalled hearing about federal efforts to reduce crime, indicating a significant communication challenge. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.